Hello, hi and welcome to another booktube video. This is just going to be a quick video. I'm kind of halfway through my Walter Scott Prize shortlist readathon. I've read 3 of the books. Obviously I read one ages ago, The New Life. I've read 2 since then. I'm on the 3rd extra one, or the 4th in total, about a third of the way through that. But I thought I'd take a little break and read something from the long list, one that's been recommended to me. With the shortlist, I was going to do individual videos, but because there's been one that I didn't really get on with and another that was okay, I didn't think it'd be fair to do individual videos because some I might be gushing about, others I wouldn't be talking a lot about. And obviously I'm not necessarily reading the Walter Scott Prize shortlist for enjoyment, solely for enjoyment anyway. I'm finding I'm enjoying quite a lot of it, but it's not like my other videos where I'm reading a book because I know that I'm pretty much going to enjoy it, or I think I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm just going to do one long video at the end for the shortlist of my ranking and predictions. But in the meantime, I have read another book from the long list that has been recommended by a few people, and that's For Thy Great Pain, Have Mercy on My Little Pain by Victoria Mackenzie. It's short and sweet, so yeah, let's get into it. So For Thy Great Pain is based around 2 female protagonists. It's a work of fiction, historical fiction, but these 2 female protagonists are based on real people. Well, they were real people. So we have Marjorie Kemp and Dame Julian of Norwich. And they're 2 very different women, but also they have something very compelling in common. What I find interesting as well, reading the end of the book, is I already knew that the story was based on 2 real-life women, but I didn't necessarily realise the importance of these women and the works that they did. Like, they both wrote books. So Marjorie Kemp is known to have dictated a book, because she was illiterate, she couldn't read or write, of her experiences. And you can actually get, and this is what I love about this book, so I'm now intrigued about getting, so it is the book of Marjorie Kemp, and you can now buy that and read that book. Also Revelations of Divine Love, which was the book by Julian of Norwich. Both these books are based on their experiences with God. And for that reason, it reminds me of Cuddy quite a lot. It's completely different to Cuddy, but it has some similar themes, and also it's quite innovative and original like Cuddy, and that's why I can't understand why this book and Cuddy were not shortlisted, when one of the books I've read I thought lacked a bit of originality and innovation. But anyway, so yeah, this book, we have Marjorie and we have Julian, should I say, and we just switch between their narratives constantly. So we have a brief bit from Marjorie, a brief bit from Julian, and their first person narratives, and we see how different they are. Sort of like Marjorie is, some would consider her quite fortunate, you know, pretty well off family. She has loads of kids, whereas Julian, she's what they call an anchoress. She is basically locked into this small room attached to a church, and I mean like bricked into this room. She doesn't leave, she doesn't have any contact with people, like physically. She has a window which people come to her and she speaks, someone else, her maidservant, brings her food, but other than that she is in quiet solitude. She prays and doesn't do much else. But we find out she had a really hard life before that. You know, she was in love, she had a child, things went drastically wrong. But both of these women have visions, shall we say, from the divine. And we have Julian, who acts in one way, goes very quietly, you know, doesn't tell anyone. You know, back in those days, it's kind of heresy for a woman to talk about having messages from God, shall we say. So she decides, after everything that's happened to her, she's going to become this anchoress and just pray to God to see if she can find out the reasons why for these visions. Where you have Marjorie, who has these visions, who can't stop talking about it and tells the world, and she's kind of almost, well, nearly a few times done for her heresy, or her sort of perceived heresy. And then at the end we get these women coming together, having a meeting, and yeah, it's almost like the backstory to how the books, so the book of Marjorie Kemp and the Revelations of Divine Love, came about, sort of like the backstory to that. Like Cuddy, I found it just quite enlightening. Like, I'm not religious really at all. Well, I'm not, apart from, you know, my pagan ways. I don't class that as religion as such. Some people would. Anyway, so in terms of Christianity, I'm not religious, but it really does make me think. Like, both Cuddy and now Foray Great Pain, yeah, it's kind of opened my mind a little bit. Appreciate sort of people, especially like those. So this book's set in sort of like the medieval ages, sort of early 14th century, early 14th, early 15th century, because it's 14 something and whatever it is was their perceived meeting anyway. Yeah, it's a really lovely read. It's really short, so it's about 160 pages. I read it in less than a day, in between reading The Hungry Ghosts, which is on the shortlist. And yeah, it's just really, really nice. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, yeah, go read it. It's really compelling. Yeah. So they're my thoughts on For Thy Great Pain, Have Mercy, My Little Pain. If you like something that's a bit original, a bit different, and you don't mind the sort of religious topics, you know, it's not preachy really in any way. It's not making you want to go and convert or whatever, but it's quite enlightening to view, especially how women were perceived in the medieval ages with their sort of, well, it brings up the family home, family ties. We see a strained relationship with Marjorie and her husband and the rest of her family when they think she's a bit loony and she's committing heresy. It's, yeah, really intriguing, really interesting. So at the end, the really interesting part for me was, and I don't know if they are the earliest or one of the earliest, but I think it says in there they are the earliest writings that we have. And so that makes them important works from, the, you know, Marjorie Kemp, the Book of Marjorie Kemp, and Revelations of Divine Love, the earliest writings we have in this country, and they're both from women. So that says something, you know, some of our most important literature, oldest literature in this country is by two women, which I found really fascinating, and I've learnt something new as well. So yeah, if you want something a bit interesting to read, and you know, something short, sweet, direct to the point, 5 stars, go read it. So that is my thoughts on that. I am continuing to read through the shortlist. As I said, I'm kind of a third of the way through Hungry Ghosts, and then I have got The House of Doors left to read, and also My Father's House after that. Hoping to get that done at least by next week, if not into the week after, before I go away on holiday. It's kind of scuppering my plans for the Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist. I don't know if I'm going to get through them all by the time they announce the winner, but then I am on holiday at the beginning of June, so I might take a few on holiday with me and have to do like a really rush video when I get back. Yeah, so that is that. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.